When the numbers refreshed on the global charts this week, one name surged back to the top with unmistakable force: Bruno Mars. His addictive new single, I Just Might, reclaimed number one on the worldwide iTunes song chart for an 11th day and returned to the summit of European iTunes for a milestone 10th day. In an era dominated by viral flashes and short attention spans, this kind of sustained global dominance feels rare and deeply intentional. At a glance, the headline is clear. I Just Might is not just another hit, it is a global event. The track is holding at number 2 on US iTunes while topping charts across 39 countries including the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, Germany, Brazil, and France. On Apple Music, the song has rebounded to number 16 worldwide after peaking at number 4, and climbed back to number 14 in Europe following a number 5 peak. On Spotify, it has returned to number 21 globally, building on what was reported as the biggest debut of 2026, launching at number 3 with nearly 5 million first-day streams, marking Bruno Mars' biggest solo debut on the platform. The music video has already surpassed 83 million views after trending at number 1 worldwide on YouTube for 3 consecutive days. To understand why this moment matters, you have to look beyond the numbers. Bruno Mars has built his career on precision. Since emerging in the early 2010s with era-defining hits like Just the Way You Are and Grenade, he has cultivated a reputation for meticulous songwriting, tight live performances, and a near-obsessive dedication to musical craftsmanship. Industry veterans often describe him as an old-school perfectionist in a streaming-era world. He treats every record like it's going to be played 20 years from now, said a Los Angeles-based producer who has worked in adjacent circles. That's rare today. Bruno isn't chasing the algorithm, he's chasing timelessness. That philosophy is audible in I Just Might. The song blends retro soul textures with crisp contemporary production. There's a groove-driven bass line, layered harmonies, and a hook engineered for both radio replay and TikTok virality. It feels nostalgic without sounding dated. That balance has become Bruno Mars' signature, bridging generations while keeping his core audience locked in. This latest surge also arrives during a remarkable chapter in his broader career narrative. Bruno remains the number 1 artist on Spotify in monthly listeners, with more than 129 million active listeners, and he still holds the all-time record for the most monthly listeners in platform history at 151 million. Those milestones place him in elite company, underscoring not only the success of a single song but the staying power of the brand he has built. Music critic Daniel Reyes of a prominent New York entertainment outlet noted, Bruno Mars understands global pop in a way few American artists do. His records travel, they translate, and they endure. Reyes added that Bruno's cross-market appeal from Europe to Southeast Asia to Latin America has insulated him from the volatility that often defines streaming charts. Indeed, I Just Might reaching number 1 in 39 territories reflects more than fandom enthusiasm. It highlights purchasing power, an increasingly overlooked metric in the streaming age. While many contemporary hits rely almost entirely on passive streams, Bruno Mars continues to mobilize fans who buy music outright. In industry terms, that's a different level of engagement. Behind the scenes, insiders suggest the rollout strategy was as deliberate as the record itself. The music video, which crossed 83 million views within days, was engineered as a global event. Its premiere was timed across key markets. Social media teasers were minimal but strategic. Instead of overexposure, there was controlled anticipation. When the video finally dropped, it dominated YouTube's worldwide trending chart for 3 straight days. There's a discipline to how Bruno releases music, said a digital marketing executive at a major label. He doesn't flood the market, he creates moments. That approach stands in contrast to the constant content model many artists follow today. By spacing releases and avoiding oversaturation, Bruno Mars preserves scarcity, a tactic more commonly associated with legacy acts than streaming-era superstars. The timing of I Just Might is also significant when viewed alongside his recent global triumph with Apt, the collaboration with Rissé. The track officially became the number 1 best-selling song of 2025 after topping the IFPI Global Single Chart. That achievement reinforced Bruno's ability to bridge Western and Asian markets seamlessly. In a cultural climate increasingly shaped by global fandoms, that flexibility is invaluable. Culturally, Bruno Mars occupies a unique lane in American pop music. He is both revivalist and innovator. His sonic references, 70s funk, 80s R&B, 90s new jack swing, are unmistakable, yet he packages them with modern clarity. Younger listeners hear freshness, older audiences hear homage. That duality strengthens his cross-demographic pull. The American music industry, meanwhile, continues to grapple with rapid change. Streaming volatility, shortened attention cycles, and social media-driven virality have altered how hits are made and sustained. In this environment, longevity is a statement. The rebound of I Just Might on multiple platforms suggests not a fleeting spike but sustained engagement. There's something reassuring about a Bruno Mars release, Reyes added. You know you're getting musicianship, you know you're getting intention. There is also a human story beneath the statistics. Bruno Mars, born Peter Jean Hernandez in Honolulu, Hawaii, grew up performing in his family's band. He was impersonating Elvis Presley before he was out of elementary school. That early immersion in live performance shaped his instincts. Even today, collaborators describe him as most comfortable in rehearsal rooms, fine-tuning harmonies and drum fills. One longtime studio engineer recalled, "He'll redo a vocal line 20 times, not because it's bad but because he hears something slightly better in his head." That relentless pursuit of excellence has, at times, meant longer gaps between releases, but it has also preserved his reputation. In a marketplace crowded with weekly drops, Bruno Mars operates more like a craftsman unveiling a finished sculpture. The broader impact on American pop culture is difficult to ignore. Bruno Mars has influenced a wave of younger artists leaning into retro aesthetics. Silk shirts, live horns, analog synth textures, these stylistic choices have resurfaced partly because his previous eras proved they could dominate commercially. With I Just Might, that influence deepens. Streaming data analysts point out another crucial factor: catalog power. Bruno's older hits continue to perform strongly, feeding the algorithmic ecosystem that supports new releases. When fans rediscover 24K Magic or That's What I Like, they are funneled naturally toward his latest single. Few artists maintain that level of catalog synergy. And yet, despite the accolades, Bruno Mars rarely positions himself as a headline-chasing celebrity. He avoids constant public commentary. He lets the music speak first. In an industry often driven by spectacle, that restraint feels almost radical. As I Just Might continues its global climb, questions turn toward what comes next. Is a full album imminent? Will there be another genre pivot? Or will Bruno double down on the soulful formula that has once again proven unstoppable? For now, the numbers tell a compelling story. 11 days at #1 worldwide on iTunes, 10 days atop European iTunes, a top-tier Spotify rebound, tens of millions of video views in under a week, a global audience exceeding 129 million monthly listeners. Each metric reinforces a single narrative. Bruno Mars remains one of the most bankable, culturally resonant artists of his generation. But beyond statistics lies something more enduring. In a fragmented digital era, he still creates shared moments. Songs that play at weddings, hooks that echo through arenas, choruses that travel across borders without translation. The rise of I Just Might is not just a chart update. It is a reminder: craft still matters, patience still pays off, and authenticity, carefully refined, relentlessly pursued, still connects. As the music world looks ahead, one thing feels certain. Bruno Mars is not simply riding the wave of pop culture, he is shaping it. And if this latest chapter is any indication, his influence will stretch far beyond the charts into the long memory of American music history itself. Bruno Mars is back on top, and the numbers tell a powerful story. His latest single, I Just Might, has reclaimed #1 on the worldwide iTunes song chart for an 11th day and returned to the summit in Europe for a milestone 10th day while holding strong at #2 in the United States. The track has also rebounded across Apple Music and Spotify, following one of the biggest debuts of 2026. Meanwhile, the music video has surged past 83 million views after trending at #1 worldwide on YouTube. For Bruno Mars, this moment represents more than another hit. It reinforces his rare staying power in a fast-moving streaming era. With over 129 million monthly listeners on Spotify and a record-setting peak of 151 million, Bruno Mars continues to dominate global platforms while maintaining strong digital sales, an increasingly uncommon achievement. The success of I Just Might follows his history-making collaboration, Apt, with Rissé, which topped the IFPI Global Single Chart, further cementing his worldwide influence. For American audiences, this resurgence highlights why Bruno Mars remains one of the most bankable and culturally impactful artists of his generation. Watch the full report for an in-depth breakdown of the charts, the strategy behind the release, and what this means for the future of Bruno Mars.